Have you ever had that feeling that your life is being moved by something bigger, even when everything seems silent? Sometimes the heart squeezes without explanation, doors close out of nowhere, and the surrounding world simply makes no sense. And this is precisely where the mystery lives. Is all this a sign? And if you are, in fact, someone chosen by God for something great, but haven't you noticed yet? The call does not always come with a flash in the sky or an audible voice. Most of the time, it begins with a subtle restlessness, almost like a spark that insists on not erasing. You try to go with life normally, but something inside you is moving. Something cries for more. And it is precisely this something that may be pointing to a divine purpose being awakened. In this video, we will explore 3 deep signs that, when they appear together, are like spiritual arrows indicating that God is about to act powerfully on his journey. These signs are not coincidental, they are clues in the sky, marking the silent preparation of a chosen one. But before moving on, I need to give you a warning. If these signs have already started to appear in your life, you may be closer to the promise than you think. Are you ready to find out? Has it happened to you that everything is apparently well, but inside does not fit in? It's as if a silent voice is poking you, saying, "There's something else." This spiritual restlessness is not common anxiety. It is a sign that heaven is moving. It is often the first whisper of a divine purpose being activated. And who is sensitive feels even without understanding. The curious thing is that this discomfort has no logical explanation. You look around, see that life even walks on the tracks, but the heart. Don't be still. This happens when the soul begins to dislodge itself from places that no longer feed spiritual growth. God begins to take comfort to make room for alignment with something larger. It is discomfort with purpose. Many people ignore this phase thinking it is just boredom or common dissatisfaction. But discernment is needed when this restlessness is accompanied by a deeper search by meaning. It is a sign. Restlessness is the push God gives us out of autopilot. And if you have felt it often, pay attention. It may be the beginning of the inner awakening. This phase also brings sharp sensitivity. You begin to realize things that once went unnoticed. Words, songs, verses, everything seems to talk directly to you. This is not chance, it is the Spirit activating its spiritual perception. And when this happens, the person begins to understand that he is being called out of the ordinary to live the extraordinary. There are those who try to silence this restlessness, filling with activities, distractions, and even addictions disguised as routine. But that only gets worse. Because the more you run away, the more God squeezes. He will not let you settle in a place that no longer has your name. Restlessness comes as an internal siren, warning, it's not here anymore. It's time to align the heart with the new. A clear example of this is when you lose pleasure for what you once motivated you. Work, friendships, plans, it all starts to lose its shine. It is not depression. It is spiritual redirect. It is heaven telling you, you were not born to live in the shallow. And no matter how uncomfortable it is, this feeling is the beginning of a deep transformation. Some people call it identity crisis, but in fact, it is an invitation to discover the true spiritual identity. Restlessness is like a secret password activating a sleeping call. It's God saying, the time has come. And even if you still don't know where to go, the first step is to recognize that standing still is no longer an option. When this internal agitation is accompanied by different dreams, repeated intuitions, and a desire to seek God more, be aware. Spiritual restlessness begins to generate hunger by direction. And in this search, doors begin to open not by human force, but by spiritual movement. It is the beginning of divine preparation for something larger. Another strong sign is when you start to bother with what you once accepted without question. Values, behaviors, environments, it all starts to be reviewed. Restlessness pushes you into a new standard of living, more aligned with the principles of heaven. And in this process, you begin to understand that faith is not only believing, but also letting yourself shape. Finally, understand this restlessness is a sign that God has not given up on you. On the contrary, He is calling you closer, even if it does not yet reveal all the plans. Don't fight against it. Spiritual restlessness is the beginning of a change that will affect not only its interior, but also its destiny. It's just the beginning. And comes a lot more. There are times when everything seemed to walk well-aligned plans, opportunities emerging, and suddenly everything falls apart. Without warning, doors that looked right close in front of you. And the first reaction is always to try to understand why. But when God is in control, He does not always give immediate explanations. Sometimes silence is protection. The frustration of seeing a door closes can be devastating, especially when you were already investing time, energy, and expectation. But it is precisely at this point that trust in God is tested. What seems like a loss, in fact, can be a deliverance, because God sees what you do not see and, for love, deviates you from dangerous shortcuts. When God closes a door, it is not punishment, it is strategy. It is preventing you from entering places where your essence would get lost, where your faith would be eroded, your purposes diverted, and your stuffy identity. Sometimes the door does not close because you were not good enough, but because you are too chosen to be content with little. Many revolt with the closures and lose the sensitivity of seeing the signs. But every time a path ends for no apparent reason, it is worth stopping and asking, what is God trying to show me with it? Maybe it's time to change direction. Or maybe He is teaching you how to depend less on the plane and more on Him. The problem is that we were taught to associate open doors with blessing and closed doors with rejection. But the kingdom of God does not work with this human logic. Sometimes He closes a door now to open a gate ahead. And if you keep knocking on the wrong door, you'll waste the right time of what you've prepared for you. Spiritual maturity grows a lot at these times. When you do not despair, you do not try to force, and just say, if God has closed, He knows what He does. This does not mean passivity, but confidence. True faith is believing that even the no-os are part of the plan, and that each locked door has the right key in His time. It is in this kind of scenario that many choose to give up. They think that life has caught, that God has forgotten. But what seems pause, sometimes it's just redirect. God is repositioning you by realizing your route. Because the chosen one does not walk in circles, it is led by specific paths, even if they look dead at first. Closure of doors also exposes what was hidden. You start to see what you didn't see before: false relationships, wrong motivations, plans that had no root. And all this is funny. It is God clearing the ground to plant something new. Pruning hurts, but prepares the tree to bear fruit in the right time. Learning to deal with closed doors is a sign that you are maturing spiritually. Because only those who have walked with God for a while know He closes today what would hurt you tomorrow. And this understanding changes everything. It takes weight, anxiety, and brings peace in the middle of the apparent chaos. So, the next time an opportunity is disappearing from your front without explanation, take a deep breath. It may be that the sky has shielded you from an error. And over time, you will look back and thank you for the door that has not opened. Because instead of arresting you, she threw you closer to your destination. Shortly before a great move from God, trials intensify. It is as if the sky was silent, and the fights increased almost unfairly. You pray more, look more, and yet it seems that everything is going wrong. But what many people do not realize is that this phase is not a sign of abandonment, it is a sign of cut. God is shaping the vase so that He can handle the weight of the promise. Pain has a role that comfort will never have. It reveals where we are still fragile. Tests come to strengthen us, not to destroy us. It is in the battles that the warrior forms. And who is chosen must be ready, not just to receive blessings, but to support them with spiritual maturity and unshakable faith. Because blessings without preparation saw traps. There are days when the fight does not seem to give respite. It is a problem at work, at home, in mind, in the soul. But even that has direction. When the pressure increases from all sides, it is a sign that something within you is being activated. God allows the furnace to warm so that the gold of your faith will appear. He does not want to destroy you. He wants to purify you. It is at this time that many wonders, did God forget me? But God's silence is not absence, it is construction. He speaks more strongly through events than with words. While you think you are standing, God is preparing the environment, aligning people, and adjusting the scenario to fulfill the promise. The trials do not come to embarrass you, but to position you. Every tear, every silent fight, every night, and course, everything has eternal weight. God is watching how you react to the process, because it is not just about reaching the destination, it is about who you become on the way. And it only passes to the next phase who does not give up in the middle of the pain. This is where you need to decide whether to stop because of the pain or advance because of the promise. The enemy always tries to use trials to convince you that nothing will change. But God uses the same scenario to show you that the change has begun. What defines the result is not the proof itself, but how you choose to pass it. Make no mistake, being chosen does not mean having an easy life. It means having a life with purpose. And where there is purpose, there will be resistance. Jesus himself was tempted, persecuted, rejected, but in all this, he remained. And if you are facing internal and external wars, perhaps it is because heaven trusts you a mission that goes beyond the ordinary. Tests reveal what is true within us. In scarcity, we see if we really trust. In silence, we find out if we have faith or just expectation. God allows these tests to show us the root of our trust. And when you go through this phase while praying, believing, and following, you prove that you are ready for the new. The most beautiful of all this is that, at the right time, God honors you before the same ones who doubted your process. The pain no one has seen, the effort no one recognized, he saw everything. And reward those who do not give up when everything seems impossible. Because he knows the chosen one does not live by, he lives by faith. So if you are going through a phase where everything seems harder, understand it is because you are getting close. The blessing does not come before the test. Relief does not arrive before resistance. But if you remain firm, with faith and confidence, you will see what many only dream of, the promise fulfilled in your life, in God's perfect time. After all that was said, the question that remains is, did you recognize these signs in your own walk? Have you ever felt this restlessness for no reason? Did you see doors closing without explanation and went through trials that seemed bigger than you? If yes, maybe it's not just a coincidence. Perhaps you are being prepared, forged, separate, because the chosen do not live ordinary lives. What are you going to do with it now? Will you keep trying to control everything with the strength of your arm? Or will you decide to trust God, even when the path seems dark? The truth is that divine purpose is not revealed at once. It reveals itself step by step to those who remain, even in the midst of doubts. Do not ignore the signs anymore. If the sky is pushing you, it is because something grand is coming. But to live it, you need to position yourself. And the first step is to recognize, God, I understood the message. Align me in your time. Shape me in your process and prepare me for your purpose. Now it's with you. Don't let this word be just another content you heard. Take what was said here, reflect, pray, and start applying in your daily life. Remember, great transformations begin with small attitudes, made with faith and persistence. If you felt that this message spoke directly to your heart, not keep it just for you. Share with someone who also needs to understand that it is chosen. And, of course, if it is not registered here on the channel, enjoy now, activate the bell, because there is a lot more coming. And you won't want to lose what the sky will still reveal.